Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, January 31st. Right now, we're getting into Senior Bowl Day 1 standouts for the Jaguars. Look, this is going to be a Senior Bowl-centric week. This is going to be a draft-centric week here on the channel. The Senior Bowl is one of the biggest steps towards the NFL draft in the pre-draft process. You've got a lot of talented guys out there. For the first time ever, you've got underclassmen out at the Senior Bowl. We're going to take a look at standouts specifically for the Jaguars, for Trent Baalke, his mold of player that he typically likes to address in the draft. His type of guys, right? Unfortunately, he is still the Jaguars GM, so that's the direction we have to go. There's a lot of prospects that I personally love that I just don't think he will. I mean, you look at some of the smaller receivers out there, Alad McConkey, Ricky Pearsall. These guys are awesome. Roman Wilson, but they don't have the size that he typically looks for. Jackson Powers-Johnson doesn't have the length Trent Baalke typically looks for. Zach Frazier, Christian Haynes. These are the type of guys that I really like on the interior of the offensive line. Braden Fisk was amazing in Mobile in day one, but 31-inch arms, right? So you're looking for guys that have length. You got the guys that have tremendous size. That's what Trent Baalke likes. And so we're going to start off at the top here with Tyler Guyton. I mean, this guy feels like he could be right up Trent Baalke's alley at 17 overall. And I don't think he's going to make it out of the first round. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Like, he is 6'7". He has over 34-inch arms, over 330 pounds. This is the type of guy that's just not going to be able to make it out of round one, even though he is extremely raw. Like, his hand usage, not there. He kind of just wraps people up. And I think that's working now. That's worked at the college level. Is that going to work when you're going up against guys like Josh Allen, guys like TJ Watt, the best pass rushers in the league, Myles Garrett? I don't think so. I really don't. So Tyler Guyton for me is a day two guy, but I think he's going to end up going in round one. And it would not surprise me if Trent Baalke is the guy who pulls the trigger, right? At 17 overall for Tyler Guyton, the Oklahoma right tackle, kick Anton Harrison potentially over to left tackle, save money on Cam Robinson, bring in Tyler Guyton. I could absolutely see that being the plan for Trent Baalke. We'll see how it plays out. Beyond that, at tackle, Christian Jones at right tackle was excellent. Javon Foster at left tackle, really good. Jones, he's 318 pounds, massive hands, almost 35-inch arms out of Texas. He has been around the block, played a lot of football, but super efficient the last 2 years in pass protection. I think he could be a mid-round pick for you. Looked really good yesterday. Javon Foster in the same range, I think. He's over 6'5", 309 pounds, so not the biggest in terms of weight, but 35-inch arms, another guy that has played a lot of snaps in college at Mizzou, efficient over the last few years, looked really damn good at the Senior Bowl yesterday and practices. Again, probably the same range, mid-round, as Christian Jones. On the defensive front, Gabe Hall, he was a monster. A guy that I had not watched until yesterday. He's almost 6'6", 290 pounds, nearly 34.5-inch arms, powerful hands. He knows how to use his length and his powerful hands. Super active, getting into the chest plate, resetting when needed, deploying a lot of swim moves and arm overs and other pass rush moves. Went back and looked at the tape, and you kind of see all of it there too. This guy could be a day two pick, I think. Probably third round, but really nice traits. He's not an elite athlete or anything, but 290 pounds. He's a big boy. Could play big end, potentially play some tackle and a four-down front for you. I think that he might be someone the Jaguars are very interested in. I definitely think Dominique Pooney is someone Trent Baalke will like at guard. He's got nearly 34-inch arms, plays with aggression, gets his hands up high and inside. A good football player. Played tackle at Kansas as well, so maybe you've got some positional versatility there. Back on the defensive front, Adisa Isaac, talked about him yesterday. I think Trent Baalke is going to end up being super high on Adisa Isaac. He's 250 pounds, so more of that smaller edge role, not like one of these gigantic guys like Trayvon Walker or even Josh Allen, but 34-inch arms, a great athlete, plays the run super well, high effort, high motor, needs to develop the pass rush arsenal. If that doesn't sound like a Trent Baalke prospect, I don't know what does. I think he's going to end up going in the second round. I have more of a later day two grade on him, but I definitely think that Trent Baalke would be in on an Adisa Isaac. That kind of prospect just has all the things you can't teach, but doesn't have the things you can teach, which again is the pass rush plan, the pass rush toolbox, doesn't have a bunch of moves to throw at you in the pass rush department, but he's going to get out there, be able to play in base for you right away and do a good job. Darius Robinson, he looks good. He's so big and athletic, nearly 35-inch arms, 286 pounds, knows how to use his length and strength. I'd be shocked if Trent Baalke isn't all over Darius Robinson out of Mizzou. And quite frankly, I love Darius Robinson. I have a second-round grade on him, a guy that I've been on for a little while here that I think will have positional versatility, alignment versatility in a multi-front defense, which I do believe the Jaguars will deploy in 2024 under Ryan Nielsen. This new direction at defense. So I think Darius Robinson could absolutely fit the bill for the Jaguars. Probably going to end up being a mid-day 2 pick somewhere in there. I think the Jags, if the board falls right, he could absolutely end up being a Jaguar. Would not surprise me at all. Could the Jaguars be in on Toledo cornerback Quinyon Mitchell at 17 overall? I think he has definitely solidified himself as a first rounder. It seems possible. He has decent length, not like elite length, but he is over 6 feet tall. He is extremely physical. He's very athletic, plays the football at a high level. When you talk about press man, I think he has the skill set to do that. I think you saw some of that today. You didn't see much of that on tape at Toledo because they play so much off coverage. But when you do play off, this is a guy that has the field vision, has the ability to watch the quarterback, has eyes in the backfield, and absolutely break on the ball in a flash and break up passes at a high level. I think Quinyon Mitchell might be a guy the Jaguars like very much, potentially at 17 overall. So that's someone to keep an eye on. Had a good day out there. At wide receiver, the Jaguars need help, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Calvin Ridley. Christian Kirk is a great slot receiver. Zay Jones, for me, probably a average at best third receiver. I think you need to upgrade. I think you need to get guys that can go up and get the football. Guys that have size, that have strength, physicality. I think you look at Marcus Jack Saint, out of Georgia. He caught everything thrown his way. He's over 6 feet tall. He's over 200 pounds. Caught a lot of passes in teamwork yesterday. Javon Baker looked good out of UCF. He's over 6'1", nearly 210 pounds. And a guy at that size is an extremely fluid athlete. He has twitch. He has quickness. He can run routes, and he can make you miss after he catches the football. Also really good in contested catch situations overall. For me, though, out of all these players, Malachi Corley, I think he could really be that guy for the Jaguars. Out of all the thicker, bigger receivers, he's 215 pounds at 5'11". He showed the ability to run fluid routes yesterday. And the thing about him coming out of Western Kentucky, he did not run a ton of routes. He did not have a very big route tree. A lot of his stuff was screens, getting the ball in his hands quickly, and things of that nature. But I think that if you go back and watch the tape, even though you're not seeing the full route tree or even anywhere close to the full route tree, you see the fluidity in the movements. You see the quickness. You see the hip flexibility to become a good route runner. And I think you saw some of that in Senior Bowl practice day 1. So I think when you talk about guys that don't do something in college, you have to figure out, did they not do that because they can't, or did they not do that because they just weren't asked to in the offense that they were in? I think with Malachi Corley, it's definitely the latter. This is a guy that I think can run every route from a physical standpoint, from a flexibility standpoint. I think he has wide receiver 1 potential, not like wide receiver 1 in this draft class at all. But I think that he has the potential to be a top wide receiver on an NFL team, a guy that is the most featured target getter on an NFL roster. Like, this is the type of talent that Malachi Corley brings to the table. And then you talk about the fact that he was a running back prior to switching to wide receiver, and he has all the yak ability in the world. I think he can be a 3-level threat at the next level. A guy I'm fired up to watch the rest of the week and throughout the rest of the draft process and see where he ends up going. I think the Jaguars should be in on that type of talent. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Senior Bowl Day 2 coming up today. We'll have another Senior Bowl standouts that the Jaguars should be watching, try to focus on some different prospects moving forward, but really appreciate y'all. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear like the hat I'm wearing right now. Y'all have a good one.